The Human Rights Commission is launching the Social Harmony National Effort, or SHiNE, to address the lack of social harmony. The Commission is calling all South Africans to heed the national call to develop respect and harmony in our homes and society. For more, let's cross live to our colleague Ofentse Sitimo at the Freedom Park Heritage Site and Museum in Pretoria. Ofentse, what's the latest? What has been said so far?
Thank you very much, Desiree. Well, as you rightfully mentioned, we are coming to you from Freedom Park here in Pretoria, where they are launching the Social Harmony National Effort, which is actually encouraging South Africans to be a bit more kinder towards each other, to welcome guests, and, to express Ubuntu towards each other, which they're saying could actually make us to be a much happier society. But I'm actually joined now by the Deputy Chairperson for the South African Human Rights Commission to elaborate a bit further on this particular program. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Fatima. Can you just tell us about this particular launch, what actually inspired it?
What inspired it was, of course, the unrest in July last year, where when we went to visit the communities most affected by the violence, we saw communities that were polarized. They don't greet each other. Neighbors don't know each other. And so we realized that this stress that people were living with could be ignited for very little, reason, and violence could be triggered. But we also reflected on our own work, where we see throughout the country society in stress, whether it's through domestic violence, through poverty, through inequality, and racism still is one of the highest that we get as the South African Human Rights Commission.
And in terms of galvanizing members of the society to becoming, much kinder towards each other, eventually, what is the end goal?
The end goal is to forge harmony in the country, but we begin by forging harmony in our homes and in ourselves. The idea is to become a successful society. Can you imagine if we were all living in peace with each other? If we had those Ubuntu that were our lived experience, none of us would go hungry. None of us would be in pain without some solace and comfort from each other. But moreover, we would free up our government to make real changes. At the moment, our government is having to deal with things that really are of our own making. Whether it's domestic violence, whether it's gender-based violence, whether it's substance abuse, all of these things get laid at the table of government. But in fact, what SHiNE is saying is that we can be our own agents for positive change in our lives.
And how are you going to inculcate this? I heard that there's going to be a themed month each and every single year to sort of promote this.
Themed month next year. Next year is the year of SHiNE. 2023. We are launching now in 2022 because we're asking South Africans to prepare for 2023. And in 2023, we will have different themes where, as South Africans, we can reflect ourselves about our own contribution to what is going on in our country, that we can affect our own personal changes. But we're also wanting to bring thought leaders, people who can guide us, whether it's, for example, people who have drug addicts in their family. We will bring in experts, showcase them on the media, on social media platforms, etc., to guide and empower all of us how to, deal with such stresses in our lives. So each month we'll be reflecting on different social problems that we have, but also invoking this notion that through dialogue, through connections, we are stronger and we can actually render some positive change.
In the new dispensation after apartheid, there was some sort of an intentional campaign to try and have some sort of a national identity as the Rainbow Nation. What went wrong, because that initiative was actually there?
I don't think things went wrong. I think we focused too much on, if I may use an analogy which works quite well, when you have a computer, you work on the hardware. You change the hardware, you buy the most up-to-date computer. But what we haven't done sufficiently of is to work on the software. how to change the mindset, how to change attitudes, how to re-invoke those old customs and traditions that are found in Africa that center around harmony, respect, and community.
Thank you very much. Well, as you heard, that's the Deputy Chair for the South African Human Rights Commission actually saying that, from next year onwards, each and every single month will be themed in order to galvanize South Africans to be a bit more kinder towards each other and to have some sort of a national identity.